I'm Dwayne Brummett. He's Ali Alberigo, and this is the School Owner Talk podcast. Hello again, and welcome back to SchoolOwnerTalk.com. Ali, great to be with you, sir.
Great to be with you as well, Dwayne. It's funny, every time you play that intro, I want to rock out. Like it's got some good music. I'm like, oh, that's an awesome intro.
So,
yeah, everything's good.
Good. You know what we should do is, and you brought the suggestion up. So usually, maybe every year we kind of switch it up and we have a different intro. Why don't you write an intro and an outro for 2024, and we'll make that.
I've been wanting to do that. I haven't really had the time to sit down and here's a bad thing. It's kind of like martial arts. It helps me keep my students in perspective where I'm like, oh, I haven't been playing as much. Like during COVID, I was on my guitar 5 hours a day, right? 7 days a week. I was really getting good again and so on. And I just haven't been able to spend that much time. So I try to do like 20 to 30 minutes, 2 or 3 days a week. And I haven't, but once I get back in, I'll do something and maybe we could redo it.
There you go. I'm going to hold you to it. You got 4 months, man. September, October, November, December. Let's get it done.
Okay. You got it. I'll come up with something. I hope that sounds decent at least.
Okay, perfect. So, hey, first, before we get in, I do want to bring up the fact that we are going to talk about the part 2 of back to school marketing strategies. Cause last week we talked about part 1. But before we get into that, I know that you went to Florida, brought your head instructor Ryan down there, and you went to the Spark event that was down there. Do you want to drop any quick knowledge?
Well, real quick, a quick overview. One, it was, and here's the reason why a lot of like Chung Park, who is a founder of Spark, Ron Sell, and their team, why, they're successful at their schools or, I don't know if Ron still has schools, but Chung has Grandmaster Park has 8, I think. Right. And you could see why they're successful. Like you could just tell because everything they do is at a certain standard. Right. So even this event, you come in, it's totally set up. There's a full team of people waiting. You got free t-shirts. You had a booklet. They paid and bought a book for everyone from an author. I forget. Let's see. I have it. Oh, it's called Buy Back Your Time. And they gave the book to everybody who attended. And it was just really, really professionally laid out. And then the second day we did a luau party, Hawaiian themed party at Grandmaster Park's house. Which is, by the way, just palatial estate, breathtaking, just to see. And by the way, he's very successful in multiple businesses, not just the martial art industry, but just to see people that are that successful in our industry. It inspires probably more so a lot of the younger guys. They're all comparing Rolex watches and, their fancy cars. And, it's kind of cool to see people being motivated to that level.
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But the training was great. Roland Osborne did his hyper training, which is how to teach exciting and dynamic and motivational classes, how to keep the ball rolling. One thing I'll share with you that I thought was a very good lesson was like, we always talk about value stacking in our businesses, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do that on top of each other. Well, he talked about technique stacking. So like you do 1-2 punch, the next few times you go through it, then it's a 1-2 punch roundhouse and 1-2 punch roundhouse knee. And he says you do that over the course of a week and you keep technique stacking. You're building on the movement. So they're continuously repeating the same move, but they're just adding new moves in. So they're, in essence, they're doing that move 1,000 times that week.
Yeah. They're disguising repetition.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love it. So, for us, it's harder because we're a self-defense style. A lot of it is, they throw a punch, we wrist lock them, take them to the ground and throw them. But we started incorporating some of those ideas. And we've done Roland seminars, by the way. If anyone has a chance to ever bring him into their dojo, he's phenomenal. And anyway, a lot of the stuff he taught, we could kind of extract pieces of it and make our style system or classrooms better.
And I thought we talked off camera before we started, but I thought some of the interesting things, just so that the listeners know
Yeah.
when I bring this up, but I thought some of the interesting things were the fact that, in as much as I don't want to say you didn't say this, these are my words of interpretation. Okay. Not that there was not new information, but there was a lot of reminding of the most important information. And yet still, like normal, some of us business owners really don't have those things. How do I want to say it? We don't have those. We don't know those things, or aren't doing those things like we should.
Right.
Am I kind of representing that correctly without?
Absolutely. Our old saying,
anyone under the bus?
No, what you said is basically what we say all the time is you don't know what you don't know. So like when I'll give you an example. We were at breakfast this morning, and there was 6 of us eating our breakfast and doing our meeting. And one of my buddies always makes a joke. He says, "Okay, afterwards, I'm going to Venmo you and you money for my counseling session." He says, I needed this one today. But we have 1 or 2 people that we talk to, and he had asked a question, and then we give him advice, and that one person's like, "Yeah, I like it, but I don't know if I'll do it." Like, so, certain people, they're shut off to new paradigms, right? Paradigms, and understanding like the different things that are sitting right in front of them that they're possibly not doing. So I said to you that when we got on before, I said, I'm reminded of a lot of things I used to do, things that I haven't done in forever. Things that really worked, but for some strange reason, I just stopped doing them. We fell off track. We stopped, and as I got older and did my school longer, I tended to start getting a little bit lazier. Convenience was more important to me than maybe working my butt off and really killing it. And of course, the results are in the work, right? So you don't put the time in, you're not going to get the results out. And I had a talk with one of my coaching clients this morning. I'm like, you gotta, if you want to build the school back up and work really hard and make it successful, you got to work like you did when you first started. You got to work as hard as you did, if not harder nowadays, because competition is massive and a lot going on.
Well, it's I know you bring him up quite often because you're doing the course, and I'm paying for the course that I'm not doing.
Yeah. We only have a few months with Grant Cardone. I think we have 2 months left.
Yes. But he always talks about in one of his books. I think it's
10X.
It might not be the 10X one. Maybe it is. But anyways, his quote basically is you got to go to bed hungry and broke every night.
Yeah.
Because that way you wake up every morning hungry and broke. And if you wake up every morning hungry and broke, remember when we were, I don't know if I was ever hungry, but we were broke.
Yeah.
But he's talking about a hunger because you're broke.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So,
well, that's the thing. Like, back in the day, a lot of school owners, before they got, I want to say, used to doing what they're doing, we would constantly be looking at things that we could do better, work harder, new marketing, new ideas, new principles, new concepts. And then as we kind of keep on going, then we fall into these routines. We talk about the hamster wheel. We jump in, we run in the hamster wheel day in and day out. We jump at the end of the day, jump out, and we repeat the process afterwards, right? So we got to make sure that we're constantly doing new things to succeed and be better.
Yep. And then now we talked about this. You brought Renchi Ryan in. I remember going to, different events and bringing some of my, top guys.
Yeah.
How motivating was it for him? I'm curious.
Yeah. Well, that's the interesting thing. Like, I didn't know how. He's great at what he does, just like your guy, Mr. Bean, is great at but you never know if it's going to light a fire under them or they're just going to go through the motions and just go back to the hamster wheel, right? But I think for him, and we actually had a meeting on it yesterday because Tuesday's usually my night off and Thursdays. So he said, could we do a meeting before I start classes? And he went over a bunch of the things, which we believe in our school that we have a very unique culture. Right. However, do we really explain and communicate the culture. So we believe that we have this really unique culture, but for the person who joins my school that doesn't know anything else about any martial art, they don't know the difference between jujitsu and ninjutsu and karate and taekwondo. They're just coming and having fun. So
Right.
you have to really build the brand and build the culture to separate yourself from the rest. And being a ninjutsu school, we have a lot of unique options that we could use to brand ourselves and make ourselves stand out, right? Other than,
Yep.
because Hollywood has done 30 years of ninja mystique and movies and all this stuff. Everyone uses the word ninja as a sign of excellence, right? You're a ninja mom, you're a ninja dad, you're a ninja accountant, ninja bookkeeping, ninja marketing, right? Like all those things. So but we try to promote our brand and the unique culture of what we do, which is history, culture, tradition, Japanese martial art techniques of the ninja. But do we do it well? So that's what we met about yesterday, trying to really incorporate that into our school, so that everyone is like, no, I don't, because parents will say all day long, we're going to karate today, and I always have their kids mess with them and say, I don't want to go to karate, and they're like, oh no, you're going. Nope, I go to ninjutsu, not karate. Like, it's a difference. So but do we do that?
That's an important difference.
Yeah, exactly. But it's funny, dude, we're like in a world where everyone is so busy, so inundated with activities. Like I have a girl, she's up for black belt in the end of the season, November or December, we're doing the test. And I can't make it to black belt training tonight. I have a tryout for my travel soccer softball team. I'm like, I think you need to make a choice that this is going to be a priority over the next few months. And she said, no, she'll be coming. She's available on this day, this day. I'm like, we're not going to bend our schedule so that she can make it and also do her other practices. But she's a phenomenal kid, phenomenal student with a phenomenal family. How much do you bend? Like, but in this stage in our life, like my teacher would have been like, you can't make it, you're not on the test.
Yeah.
Done. That's it. Okay, try it another year. Like he didn't care. He would make people stay, stand up and do their thing.
Yeah. So just to recap, you had a great time. It was well worth it. Wrenchy Ryan is motivated even more now. And it sounds to me like you are as well. So it wasn't a cost, it was an investment. Would you agree?
And Master Clark, who owns and runs like hundreds of schools, he had said that he spent over the last 3 or 4 years close to $2 million on educating himself in whatever, Tony Robbins seminars, business seminars, that he invests so much money in himself. And a lot of times school owners won't. They're like, hey, should I spend the $499? Like this overall trip probably cost me about $2,500 flights and, rent-a-cars and food and, all that for me and my staff member. But I think it's well worth it. Like if he's motivated and more motivated than he was before, it's going to then translate into more income, more retention, more whatever in our school.
Yep. No, totally agree.
Yeah.
All right. So let's switch on to part 2 here on marketing strategies.
Yeah.
This call or this podcast is going to be all about what we had launched last year. And then I just want to remind the listeners, we did like a short little podcast about it before, but we didn't get into specifics. So my head instructor, Mr. Bean, he came up with an idea and said, hey, why don't we fictitiously come up with the National Martial Arts Appreciation Month?
Right.
And use that as an event, because everybody likes events. You don't want to do something without making it an event anymore, because everything is an event. And if you stop and you think about weddings or events, baby showers or events, but there's a pre-shower to a baby shower anymore. Like there's an event for the event. How crazy.
Right.
And I don't know about you. I don't know the last time you've been invited to a wedding, but I even get these wedding invitations where they tell me what I'm supposed to wear, what color I'm supposed to wear.
Right. Yeah.
Like I just got one from one of my second-degree black belts, and she said that it's black attire and it got to be formal, black formal attire. I don't own a black suit. I got a really dark charcoal gray suit. And
Yeah.
I told my wife, I go, you know what? I think I'm just gonna wear my blue one.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to follow the rules. But
Right.
anyways, just to say all that is you have, if you have an event that you're doing, you want to have these mini events to create that big event, right?
Hmm.
So our end goal is to basically have a buddy week.
Right.
Buddy week does not sound sexy. Is
Hmm.
not, you know, it doesn't sound appealing anymore. It's, oh, bring a buddy, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So what my instructor, Mr. Bean, came up with was, why don't we disguise this as the National Martial Arts Appreciation Month? So throughout, and then as we started talking, we're like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Now, last year we didn't do it as elaborate, but this year it's coming up. It's September. We're making it National Martial Arts Appreciation Month every single September.
Okay.
And so we're launching it. We're launching it to show appreciation to the martial arts, meaning what we've gained from it, what type of person we've become, being grateful for the martial arts.
Mm.
And the underlying, or the end of it is, we want people to be reinforced, to reinforce themselves, going, yeah, I do appreciate the martial arts. Here's why I appreciate it. Man, I need to, I need to get in and train a little bit harder, and, stay a little bit longer, and bring some friends to show them my world, why I appreciate this, why I like this.
Yeah.
Now, give some numbers. Last year, and then we'll get into some specifics. Last year we did, we had 66 friends come. I know it sounds like a made up number, but it really was 66.
Right.
66 friends come. Out of all 66, unfortunately, we only had 11 people sign up.
Okay.
And I say only because, you look at, you want to have a 50-50 return on that, right? That would be nice. But thinking about that, those individuals didn't raise their hand to do martial arts. They were just brought in.
Right.
Right. So from that, we only still have 5 people left a year later.
Okay.
That have stayed with us.
Right.
So was it worth it? Absolutely.
Yeah. And let's quickly just do some quick financial numbers, right? So you had 11 initially sign up, right? And how much do they pay a month?
At that time, it was probably $169 a month.
$169. So that's $1,859 per month times 12.
Well, until they dropped off, because not all 11 stayed.
Okay, but how long did they stay for?
I don't know I just know that I have 5 left from the original batch.
So let's say 1,800 times 6 months, even that's almost $11,000. And out of the 11, only 5 continued on. So that's like, let's just say, even if it's another 6,000, that's like a $16,000 revenue generating machine for effort, right? Because it's not going to cost you a fortune to do it. It's
time. That's all it's really costing me, because we're not advertising it anywhere except for some social media posts, and then internally, of course, we're advertising it the heck out of it.
Right. Yeah, that's phenomenal. I love it.
So this year, again, it's still in September. It's the last week of September, because that's usually our sparring week. And we don't do sparring that week with them. Of course, we're going to have our own students teach their own students, and we're doing a class, and we're instructing them on how to teach them and all those things. So we're teaching the students how to teach their friend while they're teaching their friend.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I love it.
So the logistics behind it. One, obviously you got to pick a day or two or whatever. The way that our classes are structured, you come either Monday, Wednesday, you come Tuesday, Thursday. So they can bring up to two friends per class. Those 2 friends can come both nights if they want, if that's the way they want to set it up, or they can bring 2 friends on one night and 2 friends on a different night. Of course, we prefer that. But we also like the fact that if they're coming 2 times in a row, that means they might actually like it better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So logistically, they have a um, what is it? A checkout page or a forms and survey page. I forget
Right.
which it is through Spark that they have to, sign up in.
Right.
Pick the classes that they're coming to, and also put their friend's name on who invited them.
Hmm.
And then what we do is then we've got to take them and put them into the calendar. We put them in the calendar. We don't want them choosing their classes.
Right. Right.
We put them in the calendar so they get reminded. And then
Mhm.
they also get instructions to, stop at the front desk, all those things.
Okay.
And then when they come into the front desk, we're checking them in so that we can get them into class. It is a survey that we have them
Right.
sign, because that survey also has a liability waiver attached to it.
Right.
And so we already have the liability waiver signed.
Hmm.
And then, so that's happening. And then they come in, they do the class. Of course, at the end of class, the head instructor is at the door greeting people. You have a phenomenal class, of course. I mean, I think that's a given. And then at the end of class, the instructor's at the front door, telling everybody, hey, thanks for coming. Hey, are you coming to the next one? Like if it's on an A day, hey, are you coming
Right.
on Wednesday? Or hey, are you coming on Thursday with
Mhm.
Jackie, or whatever it is? Just reinforcing those things. And then, of course, on the back end, we're going to be giving them, by the end of the week, we're going to be giving them a tag. So then, of course, they're getting a series of text messages, emails, phone calls, trying to get them in to do a free trial.
And what's your free trial?
It's a 4-week free trial.
Right. So it's the same free trial that you're giving. Right. Okay.
Yeah. So straight 4-week free trial. In our free trial, we do a enrollment conference on the 4th class. So they
Okay.
get, basically they're going to get 2 weeks for free. And then if they're ready to enroll on that 4th class, then we give them a percentage off of their down payment. We also give them, or we call it a registration fee. We also give them a uniform and the shirt that goes underneath for free. And then we still go ahead and give them their other 2 weeks absolutely free. But then their
Okay.
payments are going to start after those 2 weeks. But the other thing is, if they decide that night, they go, we need a little bit more time. We go, well, just to remind you that, it'll be a full registration fee, and you're going to have to pay for the uniform.
Right.
So now is the best time to get little Johnny enrolled.
Awesome.
So that's the back end. There's maybe some other minute things that are happening, but that's really the overview of the back end. We did not do a phenomenal job of marketing it in advance.
Right.
So we learned a lot last year, and I don't say that to make it sound like 66 people coming in and doing a trial class basically isn't a good number. Our goal this year is 100. I'd like 100 people to come in for the class, because if the same stats apply, if I get 100, then I'm going to sign up, close to 17, 18 people. And then hopefully then I keep about, 10 people for the next year.
Right.
If the same, and I'm using, off the top of my head numbers, but you kind of see how that applies. So first thing is, I am creating a video. It's going to be a 2-minute video on showing my appreciation to the martial arts.
Mhm.
And then at the end, I have just a short little piece challenging my students to create their own video on, showing their appreciation for the martial arts and TriStar Martial Arts Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Creating that video and sharing that video on social media, number one, tagging us, tagging our school, also putting 2 different hashtags on there. One, obviously, hashtag TriStar Karate.
Mm-hmm.
The other one, hashtag National Martial Arts Appreciation, for those hashtags. And then they need to email us that they completed that. And then we're going to, in turn, email them back a link to our Dropbox.
Okay.
Where then they're going to upload that video.
Right.
So not only are they going to put it on their social media, I want them to upload it to my Dropbox. So then I can take that, I can run that through a program of mine to put the words on there. You know how that you got the the words on the videos and all those things.
Mhm.
And then I can put it onto my YouTube channel, and put backlinks and all those things to help my social media via YouTube, and drip them into also our Facebook page.
Right, right.
When they do those things, when they create the video, tag us, email us, and upload it, then we're like, hey, you did it. You accepted the challenge. They can come on into the studio, stop by the front desk. We've got our TriStar patches, and I've got like probably about 100 of them that are just sitting there because we don't use them on the uniform anymore, because we have the uniform and screen,
Right.
With silk screen.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got about 100 of them sitting there. They're gonna get one of those patches as a thank you for showing their appreciation.
Nice.
I got those to get rid of anyway, so I might as well get rid of them, right? And so you can kind of see the traction that hopefully is going to happen with that. Now, that being said, I created a framework or an outline for all of my instructors to create their own video. And then, of course, at the end of the video, they're going to put in there that information on, here's what you need to do next. I challenge you to blah, 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 blah. And then I'm going to start dripping that out to our clients.
Right.
Then we've created mat chats, because we do our mat chats on our A days. We don't have mat chats on our B days.
Okay.
Because the mat chat really is the theme of the week.
Got it.
So the mat chats that are going to be on the B days are all going to be about like some history of some famous martial artists. So we're going to do Bruce Lee. We're going to do Chuck Norris, obviously. And then Finicochi, we're going to do him. And just how they contributed to the martial arts and how they showed appreciation to the martial arts, and why we think they appreciated it. Those type of things are going to be inside the mat chats as well.
Awesome.
And in our videos, we're giving a quick, like our instructor videos, we're going to give a quick history on, when we started, why we appreciate martial arts, but it's really going to be condensed.
Right.
Into a 2-minute video. I'm making everybody do a 2-minute video. It's got to be like super, super condensed.
Awesome.
So that's how we're getting there. And then, of course, we're going to have the information in our app. We have in the app on the front page, you know what I'm talking about, on the front page of the app. They'll be able to click on that. They'll be able to click on that dashboard, open it up, and there'll be 2 different text message templates for them to copy and paste, and then text it to their friend, or obviously if it's a mom, text it to the mom's, friend of the mom, so they can get them to enroll. And that's how we did it last year. And then it'll take them right to that survey, forms and survey, to get them enrolled into doing it.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Like, look, I'm listening to this. This is an entire marketing campaign. This is where a lot of businesses or school owners, any business, by the way, could be a coffee shop or whatever, but school owners fall short. They don't have a very organized campaign. And, they say, hey, I'm going to do, martial art, appreciation month, but what are you going to do? What actually are the steps? And it's multi-levered, like that spider web we used to always talk about, that has so many different strings on the web, but it all comes into the center where that spider puts its legs on and moves it around and catches flies and other bugs in the corners, moths and so on. So like we have to have that available. And you mentioned a bunch. I mean, you mentioned, of course, a buddy week and a contest. And I don't know if you mentioned this, but you could give away prizes and things like that.
Yeah, I forgot to say that. So everybody that brings a buddy in, they get their name put into a hat. And it's not really a hat. I'm going to put them on an automatic wheel, because everybody's going to have a number. I put how many people actually brought people, and then whatever the wheel picks out, they get a $100 gift card.
Cool. Very cool.
The other thing too is, and I've already talked to you, I still have to talk to Kenny. And then I think I'd like to do one more, but we're going to be doing virtual online martial arts seminars, where you're going to do a seminar for us. You're going to talk a little bit about your appreciation of the martial arts, your history, where you kind of came from, and then do like a quick, 15-minute, 20-minute seminar, whatever. I mean, the first part will be your history, because I really want that history part with showing appreciation. So like 10 minutes of that. another 15 minutes. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to bring them into the studio.
Yeah.
We got a big screen that we're putting up,
Yeah.
and we're gonna project you onto that screen, and you'll be through the speakers there. So we'll have them doing the training all together, not in their house like we were for COVID.
Right. No,
We had to for that. I mean, that was good for the time, but the camaraderie to bring everybody in, even though you're not there.
Right.
You see where I'm going with that?
Well, yeah, because, I mean, you've done this. You flew me into your school and I taught, and you had a big, huge seminar. That's expensive, right? Normally, if you're paying for a teacher's flight, their hotel, their food, now you just say, Kenny, can you sign on at 6 and do a seminar from 6 to 7:30? And he's like, sure. He does it right in his own dojo, So that's a pretty awesome thing that you set it up. I also have a big screen projector, which we have never used. I want to do movie nights and other things like that, and we haven't used it yet. But it's sitting there on the wall. You push the button, it comes down electronically, goes back up. So, yeah, this is a great campaign. I'm hoping that the people who hear this, listen to this, are taking notes because, look, if you got 66 members and you signed up 10, that's worth it in itself, just there. Of course, we'd love to get 100 and sign up 20, 25. That'd be amazing. But just think about it. Like what other marketing can you do that will bring you this kind of results? It's just another campaign within all your campaigns to keep bringing people through the door and getting signups. I love it.
And then, obviously we talked about this before. Those 66 people, most of them are most of them are school age people. I mean, there was a few adults that brought an adult with them, but most of them were kids. And, we get all their information. So we're getting their name, we're getting their name and telephone number. We're getting their date of birth, email address, those type of things. And then of course we market to them for a birthday party.
And a million other things.
Parent night out. Absolutely.
And seminars, whatever.
Yeah. And then, they're still on our list where like every month we do 2 different emails for our donations, because we give, those certificates of donation and stuff. So who knows? They may never do anything with us, but they may have a corporation or some sort of event where they need donations for, and they go, oh yeah, I know where I can get a donation. Yeah. And then get to us, and then that leads us to other people.
By the way, that's something, if people aren't understanding what you meant, is that you will donate to charities or corporations that are doing fundraisers, and you'll donate a 2-month membership or 100 free passes. We had a woman come in the other day. Nothing has panned out of this, which I'm kind of shocked, but we did a 2-month membership for them to raffle off for a big race they were doing. And 700 passes for 1 month free went out to all the runners. So, I mean, I would have thought I would have gotten a few. Maybe I don't even know if it happened yet. So it might have not happened yet. But things like that, we donate all the time. You and I, Dwayne, have come up with the concept of where we put it on our website. I came up with the idea. You went and ran with it and got it done. And I'm like, wow, that's damn good. And since then, I've gotten like 8 or 10 organizations that have asked me for donations. And what does it cost us? $0 to give out a 2-month free membership. If they show up, that's awesome. But I normally say, hey, give out the free membership, raffle it off, make some money on it, and then give passes to everybody. So it looks like we're doing a really, really great thing. But in essence, we're getting free marketing.
Yeah, or very, very low cost marketing. Right. I mean, that's a really good guerrilla marketing strategy.
Yeah.
So, so I mean, that's the National Martial Arts Appreciation Month.
I love it.
Can you think of? I mean, based upon, and I just did a shotgun. I just threw up all over you. Can you think of anything else besides those mat chats, the videos, tagging us on social media, to having guest instructors, come in? Can you think of anything else that we can do to build this thing up?
I do have one other thought, and then it really all depends on how many legs you want to build out on this thing that you're doing. But even tying this month into a fundraising month for, let's say, breast cancer awareness, American, Cancer Society, heart, I forget what it is, the American Heart, whatever, and raise money through that. for these charities. So let's say, for example, you want, and I do this all the time. I'm about ready to start one up for breast cancer month as well, where we allow everyone to wear a pink belt, and they purchased a belt for $20. I pay for the belt out of my pocket, but the $20 goes right to the charity. So now if you have, all your students are now all wearing pink belts, which is fun because it's different. And they that money goes right to the charity. So that might be another way to tie this something else into this Martial Art Appreciation Month, and maybe spin it into press releases. And look, our Martial Art Appreciation Month turned into a big, huge fundraiser for breast cancer organizations, or whatever the case may be, CTF, Children's Tumor Foundation. And you could really use that too as a way. It just depends on how many legs you want to. And there's so many things that we could add into this to really make it special.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I should have maybe for next year, I should have created a T-shirt.
That
would have created. Cool. Yeah, I should have created a T-shirt that I don't know how I would cover the cost.
Well, me with cost on T-shirts, covering costs is real simple. Let's just pretend you buy 100 shirts. They cost you $7 a piece. That's $700, right? You're going to give them all away for free. $700 out of your pocket, or you get 2 shoulder patches of 2 different local businesses to sponsor you for $350. And now they've, in essence, paid for your T-shirts that you're giving away for free, but those businesses get free marketing. Or what I used to do at my tournament, I used to do a tournament T-shirt, and I used to give it out to the first 200 people that would join the tournament. And then I'd have all the schools on the back of the T-shirt, and I charged them $75. More of a donation to help me make the money on the shirts. But I would end up making money, a profit on the T-shirts, and giving them away with no cost to myself. And by the way, you could get one big sponsor. Like I have a friend that I told him about sponsorship for children that can't afford camp, right? Parents that they don't have the money, but they have to go to work. What do? I said, reach out. And he did. He used to be a Chinese medicine doctor, and now he's just doing full-time martial arts. So he reached out to all his Chinese medicine people that he knew that ran practices. And he said, if anybody wants to donate money, it'll go towards kids that can't afford camp. And he had a doctor donate $5,000 like that. Snap of a finger, money was Venmo to him. So he now used that money to give out free camp to a lot of the kids that couldn't afford it.
Yeah, I'm thinking now. I mean, if I get on this now, I could get a T-shirt.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could get a T-shirt made. And then how do I decide who gets a T-shirt? Everybody that brings a friend?
Yeah, I think that if they brought a friend, well, it depends on how many people. If you're going to get 100 people in, it's 100 shirts, right? And if the student brings in 100 friends, that's 200 shirts. So like, right there, if 200 shirts, and when you buy in bulk, you get them cheaper anyway. But let's just say you paid $6 a shirt. Now you got to raise enough money. And by the way, it doesn't have to be the full amount, because sometimes we can invest back into our own company, and that's kind of like a cost of doing business type thing. But
sure, but if I can make it net zero.
Exactly. Net zero would be beautiful. You just get people to sponsor you. And, when we sell sponsorship, it shouldn't necessarily be, if you sponsor us, you're going to get free marketing on the shirt. Not, that's good, but not everyone's go, okay, slow down. Can I see that shirt? I want to go to that pizza parlor. Right. But it's just name recognition, but it's more like they're helping you for a cause to this National Martial Arts Appreciation Month.
Okay. So a patch on one side and a patch on the other.
Yeah. Or on the back of the shirt. Could be 2 big logos for two running, multiple companies. You've seen it before, running, marathons, and they got 25 businesses on the back.
Now I got to come up with a T-shirt design, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it should probably be something cool with your logo and the National Martial Art Appreciation Month shirt, right? That I participated in. I I went to, I was involved in, I ran at, like one of those mud run kind of things.
I survived.
Yeah, I survived the National Martial Art Appreciation Month.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good, but
Yeah. Right,
I participated.
but that's this is where, again, going back to what I think of things like this, and I go, like, I used to do them all the time. I had a staff of 27 people working for me at one point with my multiple schools. So I could just say, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this. This is our main goal. Now that I have a smaller staff and I have just one location, I've kind of cut back on the stuff that I want to do. But I have to be reminded, like, look, these things are important. Like, we talked about that this past weekend too. Like, we could do social media marketing, right? And it's very easy to throw money at social media because you throw the money at it and then the ads run, and hopefully we get results.
Right.
Back in the day, the guerrilla marketing, grassroots marketing, whatever you wanted to call it, took some legwork, took some energy. Like, I used to have people who would go and deliver my rack cards and put them out in stores, and they had a route, and they would go around a week later or 2 weeks later and check to see if they ran out, and then put out more. And by the time we were done, we had like 150, 200 businesses with our rack cards in them. Did I get a ton of business? Not 250 students a month. I would get a few here and there, but was it worth it? Of course, because every student's net value, if they stay with you for 2 years, could be, $4,000 or $5,000. So when I say that, the student is not the money, it's really the business side of it. But at the same time, it's about understanding that investment should bring home a return on investment, right? So you want to look at stuff and say, and by the way, they talked about that this weekend too. What are the jobs that you do in your school that are just not, they're below you, that you shouldn't be changing the toilet paper and cleaning toilets. You should pay a staff member to do that. Or you shouldn't be, doing certain things, that your staff should be doing that. And you do the things that are more profitable for the business, for you, for the growth of the business. Like this campaign that you're talking about, to me, it's an entire campaign. Like, so this could, if you could yield 100 leads and get 25 signups, that's massive money.
Agreed.
Right? That's crazy.
Well, that kickstarts our, end of the year off really good.
Right. Yeah. So I love it. I'm ready, starting to do a flyer. So that I'm going to make a flyer up, National Martial Art Appreciation Month, and make it look pretty and hand it out and give it out to people. So, that way could make it special.
Okay. So you're more artistically inclined than I am.
Okay.
If you were putting a logo together,
right,
that would encompass that, what do you think it would look like?
Well, let me tell you what I normally do. So like with something like that, that's a great question. So I type in, and I just did National Appreciation, and I typed it into Google, and then I went under photos, and now under images, and now I could look at all the different things that people have done: education appreciation, teacher appreciation, all these different things, employee appreciation, National Day 365, National Day calendar, 10th year. Like it now I have a lot of things that I could look at to kind of give me an idea, and that could possibly stem or start some other, other ideas for my marketing, my logo. Like there's one that I look at right now, which is cool. It's National School Nurse Day. And it's like a nurse, just the hands with a heart in their hands with a smiley face. And it says, thank you. Like, that they're like, that's what I would do first. And then I would start to maybe change the wording a little. There's a Teacher Appreciation Day. There's a National Husband Appreciation Day. Like, so like, what do they all look like in common? It's all about that one-on-one connection, showing that appreciation. But I'm thinking like something with some sort of ribbon slash, a prize, kind of like if you were to get an award, kind of look like a trophy or a medal. That would be a cool thing to show.
Okay. Not like put the map of the United States on it.
Maybe, but we want this to go worldwide too, right? So we
Well, right now we titled it national.
right, right. Yeah. So I mean, for our nation, but I mean, but people could adapt that for their
Well, anybody could say it was
right,
national. It
right,
would be their
exactly.
nation.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I mean, there we go. And you know, I mean, dude, they have everything from Happy National Houseplant Appreciation Day, you know, National Day calendar, Employee Appreciation Day. There's so much. So Lifeguard Appreciation Day. There's like so many things, and they're all very similar-ish in that. Doctors Appreciation, National Ice Cream Appreciation Day.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So it's like you know, Houseplant Appreciation Day. It's just like crazy, but that's what I kind of like, that concept of whenever I'm trying to come up with an art or kind of a graphic or some sort of visible thing, I'll normally just Google the heck out of stuff and try to see where, you know, what it's giving me that others have done. And it's endless.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of something, obviously, for a t-shirt.
Yeah. Well, what about martial arts? Like, you know, some sort of martial art like logo of you know, and it could be National Appreciation Day using the TriStar logo, right? That would be incorporate that in, because you want them to not just see a national appreciation, you want it to be the TriStar National Martial Art Appreciation Day,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
That's where
I just
that
didn't want to put a I just didn't want to put a jump flying sidekick kicker on it and it
right,
being
right.
generic. Like I'd
Yeah.
like it to look good and yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to work on some stuff. I'll send it to you the minute you know, in the next day or two, I'll have some stuff done. I'll send it to you, and then maybe we could post it on the page.
Okay. Yeah, that would be interesting. Because then I can get these t-shirts done. In the meantime, I'll have to contact individuals and see if I can get some revenue in to help cover these t-shirts.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love it. I
So-
mean, and by the way, just to throw a note in there, just a mental note for everyone who's listening. Anything and everything you do everything and anything you should do, you could do stuff like this. So like if you're doing an inter-school tournament, I do it for Mother's Day and Father's Day training. I make t-shirts for them and I give them for free. And I normally order an extra 20, 25 shirts for people who couldn't make it. And then I'm constantly like, hey, sir, did you get the dad shirt? No, I couldn't make it. What's your size? No. So boom, throw them a large, you know, like I want people walking around with our brand and our logo, right? Something cool. So like sometimes it's funny, dude, when I talk to certain business people, they're like, nah, I'm not going to invest that kind of money. I'm not going to pay that. I'm like, look, even if it costs you $300 or $400, that's probably $400 well spent, because every single person appreciates the shirt. They're happy. They look at you differently. They're like, wow, that was really nice of him. Like I had 2 trial classes right after Father's Day, and I gave the dads Father's Day shirts. You know, so I thought that was cool to just be able to hand that to them. And I paid for everything. So, but I used to get sponsorship.
Yeah, so now I'm thinking that all the instructors and the program director should have one of those shirts on, you know, for that week.
Yeah. Yeah. Or here's another thing. You get some sponsors that will give you a good chunk of money, $2,000 or $3,000. And you tell them on the next 5 events that you do t-shirts on, they're going to go on your shirt.
So sell it in bulk.
Yeah, that could be. So they're getting more than one. Moms, Dad's Day, Father's Day, Mother's Day training, the National Martial Art Appreciation Month shirt, and you can sell it. And by the way, look, it sounds like a lot of money to some, and it is, but then there are those that have just money to throw around, like crazy money, where they're like, oh, I'll do it. No problem. I want to be a part of this. They're looking for something to do nice for others.
Okay. Yeah. And then I think maybe also too, is I craft an email and maybe even a push notification to our own clients and say, hey, if you have a business and you'd like to, sponsor this event,
right,
and be on the t-shirt.
Yeah. What's the worst case scenario? They say no.
Right. And then I can also put them on our board at our TV that
rotates and revolves all their things there.
Yeah. National Martial Arts Appreciation Month sponsors.
Yeah. Love it. And that's free marketing. And by the way, some of the most loyal people are the ones that are loyal to that specific cause. So if they love your school, they'll love to support it, right? Others are a little, look, we all have those cheapskates out there. Every penny counts. They feel like they're being nickel and dimed. But then there are those that that are, I asked Chung Park. He has I think it's a Lamborghini Diablo. I put it up on
I saw it
on the page. The car is breathtaking. Like, it's just like a dream car, right? And I said to him, do you ever run into any struggles where people going, oh, look, he's got his car. He goes, no, people know that I'm a successful school owner and business owner. So they're proud. And he said, and by the way, half of the parents are driving, Range Rovers and other car, Mercedes and, fancy cars themselves. So he said, but his clientele appreciates that he has a status that people can aspire to be like.
Yeah.
So don't ever be afraid, and then you want to share, if someone does sponsor you, you can even put there, if you have a welcome package that you give out, or maybe you have a recommended business thing on your app for local contractors or whatever. Here's names of parents that run these businesses. I can't 100% say that they're the best in the world. I don't know them, personally, but try to give them a call, get an estimate and see what you think. Now we're sharing together.
Yep. So I love it, man. Any other thing you can think of before we end today?
We really have so much more other than we so far covered 2 topics on these calls, right? So I think that we spoke a little bit about it. It's getting back to the grassroots guerrilla marketing stuff, right? And I don't know if it's me, but I've never in my life heard of a referral program that you give away prizes and give away for 5 members, they get a year for free. People were talking about it this weekend. And in my head, this is just me. I'm the one who came up with that many, many, many years ago. But maybe they came up with it as well. And they never even heard of me or they've heard it through the grapevine. Somebody else is doing it. But there's so many things out there that we could be doing, right? That we could do for free or small amount of money. My suggestion is that you have to do something. I just spoke to a while ago, Stephen Oliver. I think maybe even we had him on our podcast a few times, right? And he talks about they're still doing movie booths where they rent out a booth in the movie theater. And they just recently did one for whatever the last...
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. And they got 500 leads. And maybe they sign up 40 of them. Maybe they sign up 200. I don't know. It depends on how good they are at it. But let's say they sign up 40. It's well worth taking the time. But a lot of school owners would go I don't want to spend my weekend sitting in a booth at the mall. I know I don't. I used to do every fair in my town. I'd have a booth and I'd be at the fair. It'd be sunny. I'm sitting there harping my, hey, you want to join? Martha? Nah, I'm good. Leave me alone. I got so sick of doing that. I did that for 30 years. What I shouldn't have done was stop doing it, which I did. I should have just got someone to do it for me and then gave them incentive to do a good job and come back with those leads.
So, yeah. So I did the same thing. I don't like booths, but yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But I got contact from one of my old program directors.
Mm-hmm.
And the company that she works for has an event coming up, and she asked if I would do a booth there.
Right.
And so what I've been shifting my booths is it's a board breaking booth.
Okay.
So they come up and we have those, those real thick, well, they're like 1/2 inch or even inch insulation, styrofoam insulation things.
Right.
So what we do is we cut those into a board size piece.
Okay.
Make them, I think they're usually, we cut them 12 inches thick or 12 inches width and then 6 inches in the height. And so then I have a QR code.
Okay, good.
And the parent has to, so for liability purposes, I can't have you hit something
right
and not sign a waiver.
Right.
So I'm gonna teach your kid how to break a board. But before you do that, I need you to fill this waiver out.
Right.
They put their name in, the kid's name in. Of course, I get their email address and phone number. And then it's a forms and survey in Spark.
Yeah.
And then boom, takes them to a thank you page,
Mhm.
right? And so then I see on their phone, they did it. Then I teach their kid how to do it. Boom, break, move to the next one.
Yeah.
And depending on where we're at, sometimes I can handle it all myself.
Right.
Other times I have to have somebody else explaining it while I'm teaching that other person. So
Yeah,
they have
got
one
it.
person waiting. Yeah. But then I'm collecting leads.
Right. Right.
So it's not just, like it was before. Hey, I hope they stop by and I
Yeah.
hope I get their information. I hope
Yeah.
they enter in to win some sort of raffle.
Right. Right.
And then from there I have people that say, hey, we're interested. And I say, you know what? By the end of the day, I'll go ahead and I'll send you some information because, what's your name?
Right.
Oh, my name is so-and-so and such and such. Okay. And then I pretend like I put it in my phone, and I said, yeah, what I'll do is I'll text you some information, as soon as I'm done today.
Awesome. That's great.
So yeah, I'm tired of going to booths and not getting what I think I should get. And again, the bulk of those individuals are not going to get on program, but they might do some of the other things that we do: birthday parties, parents' night outs, summer camps, whatever.
I love it. I think though that's that. And by the way, some people might say, like, I did a booth all day. I spent 10 hours. I got 500 leads, only 20 panned out, 10 panned out, 5. Anything that you get above and what you did, your time is money. Your time is worth money. However, if you're not doing anything, it's worth nothing.
Exactly.
Right. So do you want to make, 100% of zero, or do you want to make, 10% of whatever? Right. So I think that that's essential, that we start thinking back to like the next new student is the most important student. Right. That's really where we should be focused on. How do we get one student at a time and keep on growing?
Yep. Nope. I agree.
Awesome. All right, dude. Well, listen, it's always great having a podcast with you. Thanks for being here and setting up the topic and sharing all your info. It was awesome.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. You have a great day.
Yeah, you too, Dwayne. Everybody take care. Hopefully see you soon. Share the podcast with your martial art friends.
All right, sir.
Take care. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Alexa, off.